and that is on banking. Start off with the Kotak ING deal as well, and the murmurs that we saw or read about in the papers over the weekend as well, that could the minority shareholders go out and oppose this deal. Now, that's a question mark, but let's talk about the possibilities thereof. Two experts joining to speak about that and the banking space at large. ASHWIN Parekh, founder of ASHWIN Parekh Advisory Services, joins us on the phone line to talk about that, and we'll also get in a word from the banking space in just a bit. But good having you, Mr. Parekh. Thanks so much for joining in. Now, as per the Banking Law Amendment Bill, the cap on voting rights was raised from 10% to 26% in a phased manner subject to RBI approval. So according to you, will the voting rights of ING Group, given that ING Group holds 40 to 7% in the bank, would those be enough for the deal to get concluded?
Well, no, I mean, in the normal course, basically, let's say just the promoter's equity may not normally be enough. I mean, because it's normally kept to 40%, let's say, and in this particular case, it happens to be about 42%. And in the proposed merged entity, it will certainly be much less. But let's look at the process first and foremost. You see, basically, whenever a deal of any nature, I mean, a merger, let's say, deal happens, there'll always be two sets of shareholders. One set of shareholders who will look at, the possible benefits that they may get, and therefore, they may accept the fact that if a certain conversion ratio was worked out on the basis of, the financial performance of both the entities and the going forward, let's say, opportunities, then, I mean, they may be content with, they may really vote in favor of that. There'll always be a set of shareholders, and there are enough provisions, both under the Companies Act, and even these are listed entities, so therefore even SEBI also, I mean, and Companies Act would look at that. At the end of the entire merger process, I mean, the two companies, the shareholders of the two companies will vote in favor under the court supervision, basically. So, I mean, there is a room, there is enough provision under the Companies Act. I mean, more than the Banking Regulation Act, because the Banking Regulation Act does not look at, the pricing or the banking regulator would be more interested in looking at whether the merger is in public interest or in the interest of deposit holders. But from the shareholders' perspective, there are enough provisions under the Companies Act where, let's say, an unhappy shareholder, I mean, a group of unhappy shareholders can voice their concern. Normally, this is a very normal reaction that I've always found in a lot of merger and acquisition cases. A set of shareholders will always believe that they could have got a better deal, but it's a matter of perception to my mind.
ASHWIN, so good chatting with you. Thanks much for taking time.